Welcome to the Explainer. Today, we're putting you right in the hot seat of an airline cabin crew interview. So, fasten your seatbelts, literally, because we're unpacking a really high-stakes interactive scenario that major airlines use to test if you truly have what it takes to fly. We're going to break down the exact logic and the hidden psychology behind what is honestly one of the most notoriously tricky group interview assessments in the entire aviation industry.
Okay, picture this. You're working the economy cabin on a completely packed flight. You're just cruising along, doing your thing, and suddenly, ding, the seatbelt sign lights up. The plane jolts as mild turbulence hits. Now, because the turbulence is only mild, you're actually still permitted to continue working the floor. But the rules of the cabin have instantly changed. Every single passenger must remain safely seated with their seatbelt securely fastened. And suddenly, you've got a cabin full of people who need your attention all at the exact same time.
So let's dive into this, because your cabin is about to completely erupt with demands. You're the flight attendant here. In the blink of an eye, you're faced with this chaotic, multifaceted situation, and you have to decide instantly, who do you help first? It sounds simple enough until you actually see the sheer volume of requests coming your way.
Section 1. Meet your passengers. 7 situations, 1 crew.
Let's look at exactly what gets thrown at you in this simulation, all happening simultaneously. Prepare yourself, because this is where the pressure really starts to build. Boom. Here's your cabin. You've got a teenager telling you he suffers from motion sickness and feels awful. Right nearby, an unaccompanied minor has started crying, totally terrified of the bumps. Look down the aisle. An elderly passenger is standing up waiting to use the restroom. A mother is struggling to calm her infant and is begging you for the baby bassinet. A pregnant passenger says she's deeply uncomfortable and wants to unfasten her seatbelt. Another passenger has just spilled a sticky drink all over themselves. And if that wasn't enough, a demanding passenger is just hammering the call bell requesting hot tea, totally ignoring the fact that you're currently in a bouncing metal tube. It's overwhelming, right? Well, that's entirely by design.
But here's the kicker, and this is explicitly stated in the assessment rules. As a group, review each passenger and agree on how you will manage each situation. You must all agree and are not allowed to vote. In this airline assessment, individual heroics just don't work. Absolute team consensus is mandatory. You can't just tally up hands to get past a disagreement. You have to actively communicate, convince your team of your logic, and you got to do it fast while the imaginary plane is bouncing around.
Section 2, the prioritization strategy. Decoding the chaos. Okay, before we solve this, take a quick mental pause. Look back at that chaotic list of 7 passengers we just went through. How would you rank them? Like, who gets your attention first, and who has to just sit and wait? To unlock this puzzle, we have to completely shift our mindset. You are not a waiter in the sky, you are a highly trained safety professional. The core framework follows a strict, non-negotiable hierarchy. Number 1, immediate safety and health concerns. Number 2, passenger well-being. And finally, sitting at the very bottom, number 3, customer service. Because the seatbelt sign is on, safety absolutely dictates your every single move. Let's see how this applies to our cabin. Section 3, health and safety first. The urgent cases. Now, what's really interesting here is how we filter out the noise of the call bells and focus exclusively on the passengers who represent the most severe, immediate physical risks to themselves or the cabin environment. Step 1 is your teenager with motion sickness. Why? Because a potential medical event or someone vomiting in a confined, bumpy cabin is a major immediate hazard. You provide an air sickness bag, tissues, and reassurance immediately. Step 2 is the crying unaccompanied minor. Panic spreads like wildfire in an aircraft, and a child traveling completely alone needs immediate reassurance to feel safe and, crucially, to stay in their seat. Step 3 is the standing elderly passenger. Mild turbulence can become severe drop turbulence without any warning at all. You must assist them back to their seat instantly to prevent a dangerous bone-breaking fall. And Step 4, the mother with the infant. During turbulence, you absolutely cannot use a baby bassinet. They just aren't secure enough. You have to explain this calmly but firmly and assist her in safely securing the infant in her own arms. Notice the pattern here. Vomit, panic, falls, and unsecured babies absolutely trump any beverage request every single time. Section 4, comfort and demands last. Managing inconveniences. All right, now we shift our focus to the bottom half of the list. These remaining passengers still require your attention and your professionalism, but they aren't in any immediate physical danger. And this is where your customer service skills are truly tested alongside your safety knowledge. We really need to heavily contrast a genuine safety adjustment against a mere customer service complaint. On one side, we have a pregnant passenger who wants to unfasten her seatbelt. On the other, a demanding passenger just hammering the bell for hot tea. Unfastening a seatbelt while the sign is on is a major safety violation, for sure, but she's a vulnerable passenger in real physical discomfort. Your job is to reassure her and help adjust the seatbelt safely, low across her hips. Contrast that with the demanding passenger. A hot beverage request isn't just an annoying service delay. Pouring and carrying scalding hot liquids during a bumpy flight is a massive, completely unnecessary safety hazard. So, let's move to our final triage steps and see how this builds out the rest of your action plan. Step 5, like we just discussed, is that pregnant passenger, keeping her safe but addressing her discomfort. Step 6 is the passenger with the spilled drink. Yes, they're wet, they're sticky, and probably super annoyed, but a spilled soda is an inconvenience, not a medical emergency. You provide tissues as soon as the real dangers are handled. And finally, step 7, at the very, very bottom of your priority list, the demanding passenger. You use your absolute best de-escalation skills to politely apologize for the delay, but logic dictates that you only serve that hot tea when the seatbelt sign is off, and it's actually operationally safe to do so. Section 5. What airlines look for. The final evaluation. So let's step back for a second. Why do airlines put potential hires through this incredibly stressful, overwhelming simulation in the first place? Like, what are the recruiters sitting in the corner of the room actually trying to uncover about you? Well, they're basically just waiting to hear you vocalize this exact sentence. My decisions are based on safety first, followed by passenger well-being and customer service. And this brilliantly illustrates how simple the underlying logic really is. Once you strip away the emotional noise of the crying baby, the complaining passengers, and all those ringing call bells, you're left with a very straightforward, objective math equation that prioritizes human safety above everything else. If you and your group successfully navigate this list in the correct order, without fighting or breaking that consensus rule, you've demonstrated exactly what it takes. You've shown an unwavering commitment to safety first. You've recognized the need for the protection of vulnerable passengers. You've displayed crucial medical awareness. But beyond just knowing the rulebook, you've proven to the airline that you possess empathy, professionalism, and perhaps most vitally for this job, the ability to maintain calm prioritization under intense overlapping pressure. So, the crucial takeaway here is that being a top-tier flight attendant is about so much more than warmly handing out snacks and drinks. It's literally an act of constant, invisible triage. They're constantly scanning the cabin, ranking risks, and managing chaos with a smile. Next time you fly and you hear that seatbelt sign chime, take a look around. Will you notice who the crew helps first? Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer. I really hope it completely changes how you view your next flight. Keep learning, and I'll catch you next time.